The orphans in Playtime Co. were subjected to cruel experiments, and that should be a known and widely accepted theory by now. But what was the extent of cruelty and inhumanity they had to endure while being experimented on by the evil Playtime Co.? Hi folks, I'm R, and welcome to the video. It's lovely to see you again after, like 3 days it's been already? Make sure to send me your theories on Twitter, which I could cover in the upcoming videos. This video will have spoilers. With that said, let's begin. It shouldn't be any surprise by now that the children Playtime Co. so graciously pretended to care about and find adoptive parents for were nothing but test subjects. Playtime Co. implemented a program called Foster and Adoptive Care Initiative. In this program, the organization encouraged their own employees to participate in and whether foster a child or adopt them permanently. What Playtime Co. was not disclosing was that they had ulterior motives with these children. Children who were orphaned or abandoned were subjected to the cruelty of Playtime Co.'s sinister intentions, being the most vulnerable of all. Having no parents or family members who would care about them and inquire about their disappearance or injuries, Playtime found the perfect test subject, claiming full ownership of the orphans and experimented on them. After all, no one would come after these children and cause a scandal or any problem. The heyday photograph taken on 1992 shows the peak of Playtime Co. and how they performed at their best. The photograph shows numerous children present at the game station, some busy playing at the playground, while some other are going to different game areas. Musical Memory, Wacky Wuggy, and statues being directed by Mummy Longlegs, and some more are waiting for the train, while some other are getting aboard the train. The children seem clueless to the doomed fate that awaits them as they are busy playing, having a child mind, while they are in fact being observed by scientists above them having distinct lab coats. A letter written by Eddie MNR, with R standing for Redderman, it's revealed that he wanted to excavate within the factory in order to develop a secret lab. A lab that is of high secrecy, somewhere that only select few could know about. I have a theory that these select few people are Elliot Ludwig, Leith Pierre, Stella Graybear, and Eddie MNR, as they seem to have their names everywhere in the factory, including the giant slides which the protagonist led through one of them, with Leith Pierre warning the intruders in a threatening manner with their untamed security measures in the beginning, Stella Graybear being the head of proctoring reports, sorting them out, seemingly knowing fully about the experiments, Eddie MNR instructing the creation of a secret lab, and Elliot Ludwig, of course, being the founder of the organization. The secret lab possibly contains a lot of dark secrets and twisted stories, seemingly being the place where the orphans were experimented on. Another piece of evidence fortifying the idea that the children were the experiments is that through a proctoring instruction letter, the employees are required to write a report on the children's performance after each 3 available games in the game station. The hidden truth is that these games were nothing but means to assess the suitability of the children. After the reports were written, they were handed over to Stella Graybear for analysis and assortment. 2 further reports on the performance of an individual test subject called Michaela Hessop, reports on her performance and how she improved noticeably on the second test. This could indicate that the children were also subjected to conditioning and preparation for whatever awaited them. Subsequently, they were sent through the train to Playcare or another undisclosed location. A misconception that Mummy Longlegs had as well was that the children only came for the games and quickly left, abandoning her.
It was always so sad to see the kids go. They called me Mommy because I was the closest thing they ever had to one. But they'd come for games and never come back. They left Mommy to die alone. Mommy didn't deserve that.
But something unknown to her was that the children didn't just leave and get on with their lives, but they suffered a tragic end, becoming the obedient toys Playtime Co. desired. Something that might go unnoticed is the horrible conditions the children were placed under while being observed and experimented on. Despite the superficial outlook on the game station and how fun it looks, it was anything but. The photograph showing the children running around and being very happy was nothing but a fake facade. Through a formal request form written by Dr. Matthew Wason, it's revealed that the game station did not have any windows, and by the look of it now, it doesn't appear that Playtime Co. listened to his request at all and never installed any windows. Dr. Wason mentions that natural light is required to create a bearable work environment, and that he has been working weeks on end in the game station. He continues explaining that the children have even become rowdy, which reveals the horrid reality that the orphans were trapped inside the factory for months or years until they met their end. The doctors and scientists complain about the absence of natural light, which has affected them mentally, let alone the children who had to live there, unlike the scientists who could leave after their shifts. Further to this theory, there's a segment of the game which shows a water treatment room, indicating that the children did in fact live in the factory, as water was filtered and provided to them, a sign showing that they needed a lot of water for whoever dwelled within those grounds. It's unclear if the water included any sort of experimental chemical mixed in it to further condition the children, but it's quite likely according to the shady practices of Playtime Co. and a very suggestive poster right next to the controls. The poster encourages the employees to keep secrets, pointing out that secrets are a promise with a small box revealing if any employee breaches the NDA, they will be quickly terminated. And of course, termination in this scenario could mean anything from getting fired or straight up killed. So in a way, this does suggest to be a warning and a reminder for whatever the person behind the control panel is doing to be careful not to expose Playtime Co. Other than being kept in a windowless game station with being under scientists' observation, the children were further controlled by feeding them spiked water with whatever properties they added to it. There are multiple sketches and drawings scattered through the factory as well, especially the game station, which further shows the timeline of how long these children were kept in the factory, which had a secret lab beneath them where they ultimately were transformed into abominations. The horrifying aftermath of the experimentations is shown through the telltale signs of listening to two of the toy cutout boards. One of the Cat-B voice lines instructs whoever is listening to get out and run away, depicting how the test subjects were horrified after learning about the twisted intentions of Playtime Co. and wanted to escape when it was already too late.
Don't make me sting you! I'll do it! You need to get out of here. Just kidding! Go have fun!
Another toy cutout board's voice lines are much more saddening, belonging to no other than Boogiebot. Boogiebot asks the nature of his own existence and if he's a real boy.
Am I a real boy? The robot crossed the road. He was programmed to do it. The button hurts me.
This points out that after the experiments, they possibly had their memories wiped and reprogrammed. The robot also explains that he crossed the road because he was programmed, acting as an allegory that the children were conditioned to be obedient and act a certain way, having no free will of their own anymore. A much more twisted and heart-wrenching voice line explains how pressing a button on the robot hurts, portraying how the experiments actively suffer when in their new bodies. The orphans were used due to their ideal circumstances of having no one to comfort them. They were kept in small confinements with no natural light for weeks or months on end until they were prepped for the experiment, shown through improved performance ratings. They were given spiked and chemically treated water so they could be even conditioned further. The children, having no idea of what a family is, they called Mommy Longlegs their mother and possibly other scientists and doctors their parents, who didn't seem to want anything to do with them and only saw them as mere test subjects, nothing more and nothing less. The children, thinking they are in a game station, playing and being taken care of, were in fact analyzed and finally experimented, whether dying a horrible death or suffering a worse fate of becoming subjugated and enslaved by the cruel Playtime Co. becoming a mixture of mechanical parts and remains of the organic tissues and organs, being conditioned to obey the demands of the monstrous certain select elites in the organization. This tragic fate didn't seem to end there, with them possibly being decommissioned and left in an abandoned factory to rot and die alone. That's it for the end of this video, folks. If you enjoyed it, you can stay tuned by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your host Star, and I will see you on the next one.